The Druze community, a religious minority known for its resistance to Damascus, is pressing for a secular democratic state and improved public services. Despite welcoming Assad's departure, they remain dissatisfied with the new leadership's lack of action. Well, speaking to us from Dubai is Makram Rabah. He's a Druze historian and assistant professor of history at the American University of Beirut. Thank you for joining us on
Good morning.
Newsday.
Thank you for
So
having
did you
me.
find Mr. Al-Shara's speech reassuring?
Well, particularly, it is reassuring in the sense that he's saying all the right things. However, I think the next few months or years will show us if he's really committed to building a diverse, pluralistic, democratic system. And it's not easy. Even if he wants this, I think there's many forces, starting by the fact that there's no real basis for economic recovery. And more importantly, the authoritarian nature of power in the region assumes that there should be always a leader rather than a system. And this is why I think the Druze, as well as the Kurds, are very afraid of the number game. As a minority, they want a strong system which allows, in a way, self-rule, yet at the same time, unity with the central government.
That is a change for the Druze community, isn't it? Because in the past, you have fought for separation, perhaps, from the rest of Syria under the al-Assad government. So this time around, what concrete actions would you see as a positive signal from the government?
Well, I wouldn't call it separation, but rather autonomous rule, meaning that they want a decentralized system. I think one of the most direct demands of the Druze, which are saying if they don't want to disarm, especially before they see that there's a system that can protect them, because of previous encounters with ISIS, as well as the fact that in a system which has been witness to a number of massacres against minorities, I don't think any minority group wants to symbolically disarm. So I think one of the most important moves Shara can do is to assure them that there's no way a complete disarmament without an army from the people of the Druze community to protect them, which is basically, I think, more than fair.
Because Druze fighters and militant groups were involved in the end of the Assad regime. You did fight alongside the country's new leaders. So what does it mean if you still have Druze groups who are still armed in a new democratic Syria?
Well, certainly you cannot build a nation and build a country without having monopoly and hegemony over force and over weapons. So it's actually a catch-22. The Druze took some time to rebel against Assad, but finally the Druze have been constantly rebelling against Assad even before October 7th. So I don't think that they need to prove their credentials. And the idea is once one has to agree on what Syria will be to see if people want to join it or not. At the end of
Briefly, do you think that's a threat for the new government? Sorry to interrupt you. If you have Druze groups who are saying we won't disarm until we get what we want.
Well, it's not a challenge. I think it's a legitimate demand, which is equally shared by other communities who have arms. And I'm talking about the Kurds. So ultimately, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I think there should be a kind of a clear constitutional map. And once this commitment is there and pledge for democracy, I think the Druze will simply come around. It's a matter of time. One could not build a country with the push of a
Mr.
button.
Makram Rabah, I'm really sorry we have to leave it there, but thank you for joining us
Thank you
on
very much.
Newsday.